Right, good day, watching one from our film view tonight. Today I've just not long been finished watching the film, Prometheus on 4K. I've been watching this on 4K, right? It looks great on 4K. So anyway, let's get to the nitty gritty, shall we? So it's directed by Ridley Scott, running time of 124 minutes, budget of 130 million. And it made a box office of 403.4 million. Not bad. Now this film looks great, by the way. I've seen this film before. I liked it. I like this film. I do generally like it. It's a good film. It's a good solid film. It takes place just before the Alien movies, of course. This one, it's got a really good cast actually. It's got starring Noomi Rapace, Michael Fassbender, Guy Pearce, Idris Elba, Logan Marshall-Green, Charles Theron. But really good film, by the way, really good film. A good cast. So anyway, the film came out in 2012, and the plot is, as a spacecraft departs a planet, a humanoid alien drinks an iridescent liquid, causing its body to dissolve. Its remains cascade into the waterfall, and the alien's DNA falls apart and recombines. In 2089, Elizabeth Shaw and Charlie Holloway discover a star map in Scotland that matches others from several unconnected ancient cultures. They interpret this as an invitation from humanity's forerunners, the engineers. Peter Whalen, the LD CEO of Whalen Corporation, funds an expedition aboard the scientific vessel Prometheus. Follow the map to distant moon LV-223. The ship's crew travels to status while the android David monitors their voyage. Arriving in December 2093, mission director Meredith Vickers informs them that the mission to find the engineers and not to make contact without her. So anyway, when they get to the planet, right? Of course, this film, I won't read the whole thing because it'll take me all night. When they end up landing on this planet, they end up finding this artificial structure, which they end up going into this structure. It looks like it's this big freaking place, and you wonder what it is. And of course, when they end up going into the place, it's all that dark. It's like tunnels and stuff. And of course, this guy releases these sensor things that goes around the corridors, which is cool. I love that scene where these things go around the corridors to actually show the shape of what it is. And it turns out to be a ship, and I just think, it's just a good move. I really enjoyed it. The visual effects are fantastic. It's a good looking film on 4K, by the way. It's really good. So anyway, you have a character called David who's actually an android, of course. A bit like the androids from the Alien films. Now I won't say this film's as good as the Alien films because they're not. But it's still a solid film. It's creepy, it's intense. It's quite intense too. It's got some creepy ass, nasty moments in it that you expect from the Alien films. So when they end up in this thing, right, and they see it's like this thing of David presses this thing on the wall. It's like holograms. We see the engineers running from something, of course. Then they end up opening this door, and you always see is this big head thing. So when they're going in, they see it's like they look like eggs from the Alien films. Kind of like eggy. No, they're not really eggs. They're like containers. They look like containers where they're keeping this stuff in. And of course, there's like a thing where they've got to find out who created them, and of course turns out their DNA matches the engineer's DNA, which is interesting. It's really a fascinating movie. It's really interesting. These engineers are massive. They're quite big. They're really quite tall, quite strong too. And anyway, it's like a bit of a twist, about a little twist what their gender is, of course. Yeah, I really enjoy this movie. This stuff starts oozing out. So when they end up opening the thing, the things start to this stuff starts to ooze out of the containers, of course. Then you have these little like maggot stuff in the ground, of course, and they start. And then, of course, when this DNA stuff touches them, this like black stuff touches them, it kind of starts to create. Then so what happens to them, they grow quite big, and they create these like freaky freaking. They look a bit like snakes, but more creepier, alien-like, and acid as blood. They got them, of course. You find that later on in the film, because one or two of the characters decide to leave the place. Of course, they get lost in the ship. So anyway, they go back in the tunnel, of course, and back into that. They go into that room. And of course, then so what happens between them. That's see that scene where they go in that room and then they got those like freaky little snake things. I mean, I'm sitting there going, "What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? I mean, what the hell's that all about? Oh, it looks great. It's beautiful. That does not look beautiful. It's like an alien. It looks freaky looking. Thing looks pissed off more than anything. I'm like, you will catch me stroking that bloody thing. It's like stroking a snake that's venomous, aggressive snake, you know." And the thing decides to grab his arm and it's like tightening him, you know, literally breaking his arm. And of course, at the same time, it's just, you know, the thing spits out bloody acid and stuff, and the other guy gets like acid in his face on his finger, and it dissolves the thing. And of course, the other guy gets the thing goes into his freaking suit and goes into his mouth and kills him. What a horrible way to die! I say, what a horrible way to die. This film has got some great moments in it. I just think, what a good film. David does something really screwed up by actually affecting the girl in it. Sure, just finding this head from the engineer, and of course they take the head back to the ship. Of course, Finger later on in the film gets infected. Her boyfriend, of course, by freaking David. He puts that DNA in his finger, and then he starts changing later on. It's pretty. Like I said, it's a pretty good film. I enjoyed it. I thought the visual effects were fantastic. That scene was good. Where he gets infected. First of all, they set him on fire, then he kind of like. Then he comes back to life later on. Of course, he's completely changed. He looks completely mad. So he's like all burnt and stuff. And he starts killing everyone. The film is good though. Really. I like the fact that they go into that room. Remember the room in Alien where they go into that room with that engineer sitting down. You know, that was pretty cool, and they actually go into that scene and that part. That's pretty cool. I really did enjoy this film. I thought it was so well done. I really did enjoy it, especially that the Prometheus ship. I think that's a cool looking ship. I really did like that ship. So of course, when they have sex, they actually have sex. She gets like pregnant by some kind, but of course it's not a baby, it's someone else. A lot different. Of course, she gets like. That scene was pretty screwed up when. Finger, where she tries to get the baby out of her, and it turns out to be like a face hugger thing. It's freaky. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And the thing starts to grow later on in the film. It turns into this massive like face hugger, and that plays its part later on in the film when it kills the engineer, and it impregnates that, and then that's what creates the alien type of creature that looks like an alien, but it's kind of like slightly different. What you remember later on. Actually, I heard that Shaw was actually the Queen Alien. He somehow does something to her, David, and he creates like the Queen Alien from her or something, which is kind of just screwed up in itself. Maybe that was a bad idea to explain that a little bit, because it's always interesting to not actually know, and maybe use your imagination runs wild in your head. But they kind of wanted. I mean, I still hope they do that third film, the Awakening film, which I really hope they do. Maybe that was the wrong thing to do. It's called Alien Covenant, the last one, because then it's like, let's put Alien in that title. They could have just called it Covenant or Prometheus Covenant. That would have been interesting. Of course, this Prometheus shit gets blown up, so a bit of a spoiler. But like I said, it's like a 10-year-old film now. I can't believe it. That scene was pretty screwed up where they released one of the engineers is still alive and it's massive. He goes after because the ship ends up leaving the Earth. Leaving the planet, of course, and the thing here decides that that ship's going back to destroy Earth, infect Earth. So Prometheus, the people on the Prometheus ship decide to freaking, crash their ship into that, so it doesn't do that, and of course that ends up sending that ship back to the planet, and of course that pisses off the engineer. Even he just pisses him off. He's like, "I'm gonna go after you, mate." I mean, this guy's huge, and that scene was pretty screwed up where one of the ship, the thing is detached from the ship itself, Prometheus. It lands on the planet, back on the planet. Of course, the queen, the big facehugger's on there, and then she ends up going in there, and then the engineer follows her in, and goes in after her. Of course, then she goes, presses the button on the wall, right, and the thing grabs hold of it. It grabs all the engineers. You know, it's like a little bit of quite a freaking fight between the engineer and the big giant facehugger. And then the facehugger decides to try and impregnate the engineer. Pretty screwed up, actually. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. It's creepy. It's a creepy scene, because you feel sorry for the engineer because you think that's screwed up, but they kind of created the problem in the first place, you know. They literally actually created the problem in the first place, so having all these DNAs and stuff like that. Trying to destroy what they created, I suppose. The film is really good. I really enjoyed it. It's got a good ending to it. It's got great music in it. It's got some quite creepy ass moments like we expect from the Alien films. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. There's a lot to explain in the film, and I really liked it. I liked the performance from the characters. I thought the characters were good. Of course, there's that Thingy's character, Wayland's still alive, and the other one. Of course, they look different. They're like, so yeah, really like the film. I like the performance, and I really do like it. What I did like. So yeah, there's a lot to explain in this film, but I liked it. I liked it a lot. Pointing out anything. So yeah, what I disliked about it. There's nothing I disliked about it. I think it was a really solid movie. I'm trying to think what I disliked about it. What I disliked about it. Nothing. I can't think of nothing I hate about it. I disliked about it. I remember, yeah. The film was solid. I think that film was solid. I think it's a solid movie. Maybe the only thing I suppose that kind of bugs me is the fact it's a slight bit too technical. You know, I remember the original movie. It felt like a gritty movie. You know, like the futuristic ships still felt kind of like very 70s, and then these new ones feel too futuristic, and it's supposed to set place before the original movies, which is kind of a bit confusing because you think the ships look. The technology should be a little bit less futuristic. You know, you got like these like holograms and stuff, and I thought to myself, that's a bit too futuristic, I say. But it's not a massive problem. It's supposed to set place before Aliens and Alien, and the other ones after that. But everything looks so damn futuristic. It's crazy. And the technology, the holograms and stuff, and screens and stuff, whatever I say. Apart from that, it's anything. What I liked about it, the great characters, really good special effects. Looks great on 4K, thumbs up for that. Good characters, good solid performances, I'll tell you. Good characters, like I said, good intense moments and quite disturbing, nasty moments. But I liked it. That's what makes a good Alien film, I'll say. So the rating I'm going to give this film, Prometheus, is a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5 for Prometheus. I really liked it. I liked it a lot. So yeah, from Prometheus gets a 4 out of 5. It's a good solid movie and it looks great on 4K. I've got the other ones too, but I won't wait. I really hope they release the other films on 4K, like the second one and the third one and even the fourth one. I do like the films, even the ones that didn't get the best ratings, the third one and the fourth one. I like to see them on 4K. So yeah, definitely the second one though. And the first one you can get on 4K, and the one after this you can get on 4K. But you can't get the third one or the fourth one or whatever, or the second one on 4K. So it's a bit strange because so yeah, hopefully they do release them on 4K soon. So 4 out of 5 for Prometheus. And if people want to go off now, remember to subscribe to the channel. Have a nice day, have a nice week. Take care, look at yourself, and enjoy the review. And remember to subscribe to my channel. And in space, no one can hear you scream. See you later. Bye.